But let's of course not disregard Fabio here. He brought the branded Chimera strategy, and that actually was the strategy that took first place after Swiss at YCS Dortmund, and it couldn't really convert from there on. I don't think it made it past top 16 all the way, but maybe this weekend it's time again for the branded strategy. This is not a branded card though. He starts off with the Kashtira Fenrir, which is popular, being tagged into so many different decks. I still kind of compare this card to Pancratops. Like Pancratops was being thrown into all kind of decks as well because it's just a generically good interruption card. And this is Pancratops that replaces itself. So why would you not play it?
It replaces itself, it banishes a card face down even, so your opponent is very likely to not ever access it again. However, Pancratops has 200 attack points more.
True, true, true. Tough fight between the two.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the new, new Pancratops, if you like. Everyone's playing it.
For sure,
it's such a cool card. It wears many hats, Fenrir. He goes in everything.
Absolutely. And now we also reveal to Diego what our deck of choice is. Starting it off with the Mirror Swords Knight. Mirror Swords Knight gets us into the Berthamid, and now we also search the Gazelle, of course. Big Winged Berthamid there on the field, and Gazelle in hand. And usually we just, we could normal summon out the Gazelle, but we don't decide to do that here. We are just immediately going with the Chimera Fusion, which we also got. And Chimera Fusion is going to summon ourselves the good old, or not so old, but still very, very powerful Chimera, the king of Phantom Beasts, which will be able... Oh, and now it gets important. Does Chimera, the king of Phantom Beasts, destroy in the hand, or does it discard? Because if it does destroy, that would be pretty crazy, but it does discard in this case. Imagine destroying one Fire King card of your opponent's hand. But yeah, well, it is not. It is not.
Do you remember the first round of
I
YCS
do. Was it Agito or was it Calbeck? It was crazy, that's for sure.
That was a lot of fun to watch. Gazelle, by the way, for my fellow fire enjoyers, does not send a Salamand Great Monster from the deck to the graveyard upon summon.
A different Gazelle, I see. There are many Gazelles, actually.
So, interesting, I saw from Fabio here. A lot of players I see special summon the Fenrir and then wait and then do a different search first to play around Drawn Lockbird, because adding another Fenrir is kind of low priority. Do you think there's a reason? Maybe there's just a slightly different sequencing, or do you think he's trying to bait out an Ash or something like that?
Oof, I think ashing the... Oh, there is Nibiru. Before we even get into the end phase, we are going to get rid of the field here, or trying to do that.
You just counting the summons, Leo?
5 summons already?
So we've had Fenrir, we've had Mirror Sword Knight twice.
All right.
I'm pretty sure it's 5, yeah. It should be 5.
I think if you're Fabio, you're kind of okay with that. I feel like most of the threat of this field is the discard, and then you have the branded, not the branded fusion, the Chimera Fusion to follow up. So I think this is kind of fine.
Yeah, I feel like that's okay too. It's not the best, of course, but still you get a monster which we can also still use for a fusion summon of the Guardian Chimera. So I do agree, it should be all right here. Oh, and still we are going to discard an end phase, of course, because the effect was already activated, and that is going to be one of the cards that tells Fabio that there is a Fire King player sitting across of him, Fire King Avatar Barong, one of the older cards, but there right away is one of the newer cards instead, the continuous spell, the Fire King Sanctuary, and that activates, not searches, no, it just activates Fire King Island from your deck.
Well, just activating it is like even better, isn't it? Because you can't be ashed, you can't be drawled.
Yes, indeed.
And also it has a built-in protection effect for your Fire King Island, because once this card gets destroyed, it destroys all the monsters on your field, which is sometimes not ideal, so you can actually just instead pop one that you want to be popped.
Oh no, I want to destroy all my monsters.
So, and we searched out the Ponix there. We destroyed the Veiler on our hand to get the Ponix, and that is the level 1, the legendary Fire King Ponix that I was talking about, recently added, absolutely mandatory, free of staple and all kind of Fire King strategies, and he got access to it right there.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see these Fire Kings in action. It's great to see like a theme that you saw being played a while ago and get some new cards and really pull it together.
Absolutely.
But I mean, this can't be like the real start that Diego wanted, right? Because he had to search it, he had to destroy his effect Veiler in hand, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing you'd rather destroy something that's not effective.
Oh, that was a really good hit.
That looks like Anima. Look at that. Look at that. We can go after the Nibiru token, perfectly place it into the zone that Anima is pointing to. Now attacking with the Anima and the Nibiru. Sadly, though, that Anima is still at 0 attack points. It does not convert the attack points of the Nibiru token there, I'm afraid. So that is not going to be enough to attack for game. I think Diego was really happy there. I think he thought that he's attacking for game there, but that is not the case. Indeed, we cannot check that token's attack there anymore when it reaches the spell and trap zone, and therefore that Anima is only left with 0 attack. We are confirming with the judges, makes sense, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's handled.
Yeah, I'm interested in this because I wouldn't actually know. It's one of those things. It says original attack, and the Nibiru obviously gives the token an original attack and defense, but tokens sometimes can work a little funny, can't they? So
yeah, for sure. The thing is, I have this interaction before, so I'm like, if I wouldn't have had that interaction before, I probably wouldn't know because it's somewhat weird sometimes, as you say. But I had this same scenario occurring to me before. But of course, let's quickly do the judges their job, check and make an educated decision. Rather be double-checked than sorry. And yeah, they are currently doing that. So while they're doing that, why don't we bring it quickly over back to us and talk a little bit more about the Fire King strategy, right? There we are. And yeah, tokens, as you say, always a little bit weird. Is there any other token mechanics that we have currently in the game? Because the Adventure Engine was the other big token thing next to Nibiru, but that's not really present in the metagame anymore right now, is it?
yeah, I'm not sure what else is making tokens. I mean, there was a while we had a lot of Link monsters that made tokens, but at the moment...
Sword Soul?
Yeah.
Sword Soul is there. I mean, also not that popular anymore, but true, that was a big token strategy as well.
It has some place. I think it also recently got some support in form of a spell or trap card. I think it was a spell card. That was actually rather powerful, so we might see some Sword Soul here and there.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
It's still OTKs.
I mean, and still, it does the same thing that Centurion kind of does.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have a super big engine, and therefore has a lot of space to play all kind of cards, depending on the format you are in right now. And as the format is so big and versatile at the moment, you want to be prepared for a lot of different decks, and therefore having space is a comfortable space to be in, right?
Even though it is, I think, still a significantly larger engine than the Centurions have to play. I think with Centurion, you go up to probably like 16 cards. Yeah. And for the Sword Soul deck, you would need always a discard or something to reveal from your hand. So you need the 2-card combos as well. So you have to play the tennies as well. So I think you can still compare the decks, of course, but it is a little tougher to fit in all of those hand traps because it's really excessive with the Centurion deck, right?
Yeah,
it is a hand trap format, as Lorenzo Muselli said, and you can just play 20.
Yeah, totally. I agree for sure. I mean, but yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say Centurion. It's only got like 6 cards or something. So even if you play every Centurion
you have no choice, basically. You have no choice but to
like
make it small. There is no other way to handle it, for sure. But yeah, I was in round 1 mentioning that my kind of secret pick for the event to take it down is Infernoble. It lost in round number 1, but we know that there are plenty of very skilled players still playing it, piloting it in the field. So I think it's still a decent call. I hope it's a decent call because it's my call. But I didn't even ask you guys. What are you thinking? What are your secret spicy picks to maybe take down the YCS Bologna here in Italy? Tom, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to call it as Dragon Link.
Oh, that is super spicy because it has only been around for 5 years.
I know. It's very spicy, but it's new every time. You know, there's always new cards. I don't know. I just have a soft spot for the deck. I think it's quite well placed into a sort of wide format because it has such a powerful turn 1.
I agree.
It can win, it can grind, it can do everything you want really, and it has that bonus advantage whenever it plays a deck that relies on light and dark monsters, like for example Unchained.
For sure. And I mean, we saw Lorenzo Muselli actually made the decision to include Bestias into his main deck. So he thinks that they are actually good enough to play them in the main deck as an interruption for the interruption effect. And Dragonlink just has that as a bonus, as you were saying. It's just there. You can just use that as well.
And I mean, those cards, even against Rescue Ace, aren't even that bad because sometimes your opponent wants to go for Linkuribo plays, tribute off the Hydrant, and then tries to go into a SP to banish something. So I think that they also have play against the matchup you don't really want them to have. I would go into a different direction.
Okay. I'm listening. Is it having Cosmic Cyclone in it?
Yes, of course.
Okay, fair.
I mean, that doesn't determine the deck choice. I'm going to go for Wonderies.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not surprised. But honestly, it kind of has switched around. Usually you are the one going for the combo decks, and I'm saying maybe Fluanderies is going to take it all down. But just being in Italy is your reasoning, or?
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's the whole reason.
Home advantage right here. So many players have been playing the Fluonderies that were from Italy in the last YCS. They have been performing with the deck as well. So I think it has a really good shot of taking it down. Even though we have seen some decklist of players who have been very famous for playing Fluonderies, and they have switched away from the deck. So maybe this is not the best call, but actually. No, I'm going to stick with it.
I'm interested. So if Italians, they have a particular fondness for Fluonderies, I'm wondering if there's any other like regional differences.
Is it something for the UK?
Well, the thing is, I'm saying Dragon Link for the UK is the most
true.
popular.
Actually, it would be Rika. Honestly, you can't get out of it. It's Rika. It's obviously Rika.
What about the Germans? What's the favorite deck of the Germans?
Yeah, so we like something consistent that we can build a house on. No, but it's probably. Is there something? I'm thinking because it also won German nationals and a lot of very popular German players are playing it at the moment. I want to say Labyrinth is really, really popular currently in Germany. I don't know whether that's a long-term thing, but at the moment I would say Labyrinth really is up there.
Yeah, trap decks always have had a good history at winning German nationals as well. We have seen Alta guys win in formats where it should not have won the German national championships because it was not the best contender for the tournament, but it was just absolutely phenomenally piloted by Jack Verma. So I think that you're actually right. We like some trap decks.
Kind of like I mean, I personally do also like trap decks, so it's just fitting because I'm German, as you know, you're right.
You like keeping the time with the coup clock, you've got to be on time.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I mean, to be fair, we're saying it's a trap deck, but Labyrinth, the power level that deck has and what they're able to do is incredible. And it doesn't almost feel like a trap deck anymore because it does so much stuff. You cycle through so much stuff, sometimes even on your first turn, so it's crazy. But speaking about cycling through stuff, we are going to see some cards being moved again because players are back into the action. Let's get back to the table.
Smooth segue there.
Thank you so much.
I also love the Labyrinth strategy. You're just throwing away all of the 5 cards you have in your hand on the first turn. You throw them into the graveyard, even on your opponent's turn. You don't care who wins the dice roll. You just set a lot of traps by throwing away monster cards, and then you get them back eventually.
Yeah, it's like a boomerang. They just come back. It's pretty cool, for sure.
It feels so good to activate 1 trap card and just get 3 cards back from your graveyard that have nothing to do with the trap card.
Yeah, and as I was anticipating, we only did 3,000 points of damage. That Anima was still on 0 attack points, and therefore, now in main phase number 2, Fabio is still left with 5,000 life points. And Diego seems a little bit disappointed because his quick plan to end this game very, very, very smoothly and quickly did not work out as planned.
I think he wouldn't have searched for the Ponyx.
Potentially not, yeah. It just seemed so easy and convenient to do it there, for sure.
I'm not sure this plan worked anyway because of the Chimera in the graveyard. You can just banish it, summon a monster, defend yourself.
It's true.
True, good point, good point. Okay, we just went into the SP now, and of course we can now take out some of the resources from the graveyard, and we might go after the Chimera, because that would make the Chimera Fusion not be able to return itself to the hand. Yep, therefore we go after it. I like it.
Is it not a quick effect?
It is on the opponent's turn.
Yeah, and it is the opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Which effect are you talking about?
The banish to summon an illusion from your grave?
No, it's a Beast or Fiend or illusion.
Beast, okay.
That's why it's also a really good support card for the Labyrinth deck.
Oh.
Because you can send it with Dogmatic or Punishment, and then in the end phase, summon back one of the ladies.
Yeah, but he decided not to do it, right?
I'm kind of confused, yeah. Does SP Little Knight definitely targets, right?
Yeah, it does, for sure. So, Patchwork is being activated. So it's back to Fabio now. Fabio's turn, and he only has to overcome that SP Little Knight there. I'm saying only. Honestly, it's quite tough to play through this interruption because it's just so good being able to banish 2 cards on the field. But let's see how we can manage to do that. Oh, of course, there's still the Fenrir. We cleared the field again, so Fenrir is ready to be summoned again. And I mean, that's an easy and convenient way to just attack over the SP Little Knight, to be honest.
Do you know what would be great here, Leo, for Fabio?
Cosmic Cyclone.
Better than Cosmic Cyclone. Oh. Mystical Space Typhoon. Because it would destroy the island, which would then destroy the SP Little Knight.
However, wait, let me check the continuous Fire King spell card.
It would have been cool.
Destroy from hand or deck.
Oh, really?
That would be great.
No, you can't. Not from the deck, at least. But like
Hand or face up field, yeah, I don't think you have one.
The Fire King Sanctuary would have been cool here, because usually this card interacts with your opponent on their turn to exceed summon out Fire King monsters from your extra deck. So that would be Garunix's Eternity Highing of the Fire Kings, which you could summon out on your opponent's turn when they summon out a monster. But currently, there is no monster to exceed summon with anyway, so that is not going to apply here.
Yeah, I feel like oftentimes you read the XYZ monsters or Synchro monsters, you think, okay, that's a cool card. It destroys some of my opponent's cards, and you just kind of assume that you're going to summon it on your turn, and then you have to read the full engine and then realize, oh wait, I can summon this on my opponent's turn and destroy all their monsters? That sounds so much better.
There comes Chimera Fusion, and I think we kind of have to chain the SP here, because otherwise we are being met with that Guardian Chimera. Oh, there is impermanence for the SP Little Knight though, and it is resolving, not only negating the SP Little Knight, but also taking care of the left zone there. So the card in the back row for Diego is also affected by this infinite impermanence, trading 2 for 1 here basically.
Yeah, and I think that Diego also set an impermanence there, because he actually set it in the zone where there was already a set card. So I think that this comes to backfire Diego now.
Feels like it for sure.
I think that might have been a little bluff from Fabio, because the Chimera Fusion was in his hand before, so he didn't set the Chimera Fusion, just the impermanence. So I mean, if it was an infinite impermanence, maybe Diego would have chained it to Fabio's, which would have negated his. So maybe it's the Fire King. I don't know the name of. It's going to destroy lots of cards on either side of the field.
Oh right.
Which one are you?
Fire King Skyburn. That's the one, because he added that to his hand.
True, he added that one. That's probably the back row, yeah, because he doesn't have many more cards in his hand. There's only one more, so it's either the set card or the card in his hand.
And the biggest problem for Diego right now is he does not have access to any Fire King cards. The Barong that was discarded by the Chimera was so important earlier, because he would have had access to the Fire King Island plus another Fire King card, plus multiples. Barong is a searcher. It's incredible. Ooh, would have been so good.
Interestingly enough, we decided to banish the SP Little Knight here with the effect of Kashtira Fenrir. We could have just attacked over the SP Little Knight and then banish something else. Like the Fire King Island looks promising to me, just as an additional resource there on the field. I'm surprised he didn't decide to banish that one.
He's trying to go for a game, I think.
The thing is, aren't we in the battle phase? We should be in the battle phase, right? Because Diego did not activate any kind of monster effects. Also, his life points just lowered.
That is true.
And therefore, the Fenrir could only activate its effect on attack declaration. Now we are in the end phase. We are going to take one card out of Diego's hand once again.
He could possibly have used the Fenrir after the SP Little Knight. Even though the Little
true,
Knight
the SP was
resile.
activated. You're right, you're right. The SP was activated. You are absolutely right. So, back to Diego after getting rid of the circle there. And I think Diego, is he picking up his cards?
The Fire King continuous spell, can it just activate another copy of Island?
No, it's just on activation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this does not look good again. Another effect veiler that is to be destroyed. And now Diego just has to hope that there is somehow a monster effect that Fabio desperately wants to activate, because he has this talent in hand. The last resort card for Diego right here. And now let's see what he's going with this. I think he's looking at the Avara.
Yeah, he is. He needs to find a proper way to bait out that Fenrir effect, most likely. Oh yeah, it's Avatar. This could also be an Unchained card, honestly, right? It would perfectly well fit into the theme, just name-wise.
Yeah, and destroy a card in your hand to negate a monster effect. That seems very Unchained.
Yeah, exactly. It all fits with all. Okay, and yes, indeed, the set card is the Surge spell card of the new Fire King strategy. It is the Fire King Skyburn, and Diego is considering to activate it, because you can target an equal number of Fire King monsters you control and cards your opponent controls. So you could just destroy one here, but I mean, that's not even getting you anywhere, right? You get one of the three out of the way, but there's still two more being ready to attack next turn. Okay, there comes the Skyburn. At least we trigger the Avatar. What does Avatar do on destruction?
Special summons out of the graveyard.
Okay, so we could get back Ponix Van. So that's a way, I guess. That would work.
Does the continuous spell, it prevents, I think it lets you destroy something in your deck rather than, or maybe I've got it wrong.
No, that was the Garunix that destroys from the deck.
Exactly, yeah, that's the Garunix. The Sanctuary is only face up on the field or in the hand.
So it's if the Fire King Island would be destroyed. Okay.
that extra bit of protection. Sanctuary and Island really just working together, hand in hand. Almost being the same card. Okay, so Diego maybe trying to destroy the Chimera Fusion there, and therefore forcing Fabio to activate it here if he wanted to activate it. And maybe he's also forcing Fabio here into activating a monster effect, therefore making his triple tactic talents live.
Very well played, getting out the interaction of his opponent and getting this chance of a miracle draw to the Pot of Greed into another place, something that can get him out of this sticky situation.
Ooh, and we see that Fabio is also playing the Light Hacks, the Light Hack Sealed Fusion, so that's kind of an indicator of him also being on Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. And yep, scrolling through his extra deck, I can confirm there is a Dragoon, but of course we cannot summon that out here. Instead, we bring out Guardian Chimera.
I was going to say, it's doing a great job of like substituting a fusion material for a monster in hand. It's doing a great job of pretending to be a monster in his hand there.
Indeed, indeed. So Fabio, I think he's shaking his head. Maybe he was asked, do you activate the effect of Guardian Chimera? And he's just shaking his head. Why would I? Why would I want to play into the triple tactics talents here? Let's see. Is he?
Oh yeah, he's got 100 effects. Yeah, I think he's not going to miss all of them, surely.
He's going to activate effects here. Draw. I mean, drawing 2 cards.
Draw 2, pop a card, search a card. There's so much going on.
Oh, what are we destroying? We are destroying the Sanctuary.
And the Barong hits the field right here.
Barong looks like he's having a lot of fun. I don't know what he's doing, but he looks like he's having fun doing it. It's like he's doing some sort of fire dance.
Yeah, so Barong would not be able to trigger in the graveyard because it only triggers when a Viking monster is destroyed and not the Sanctuary there. But still, it found its way onto the field here.
It was special summoned by Avatar's effect.
Through the effect of Avatar, exactly, yeah.
The problem with Barong is that Diego has right now is that it does not. It is a search for the deck, but it does not search a card immediately. It gets you a card on the next
standby phase. It's a little slow, indeed. It is a little slow. But now, Diego just clarifying the game state here, trying to figure out where we're at. And then probably just eagerly waiting to activate that triple tactic talents there to bring him right back into the action, get 2 more cards.
Or is there a world in which you are taking something? I don't think so.
Don't think so either, because you can't really do a whole lot with it. Like, I'm looking at the extra deck, I'm seeing... We already saw the SP Little Knight, which would be okay-ish, yeah, but also not really the greatest ever in this scenario. There's Hita. Is there a fire monster we can take with Hita? Potentially. So maybe if there's a fire monster in the graveyard of Fabio, which I'm not seeing at the moment, we could go Hita into Celine into Access Code Talker, which would not be the worst idea because we would at least clear the whole field there. But
and there's only 5,000 life points on Fabio remaining.
Oh, you're right. So that actually is a legit option there, potentially.
I don't think that there is a fire monster, though.
That's the thing, yeah. I do agree. I don't believe there's a fire monster.
In this made-up scenario, this is a really good play.
Yep. There's a lot of dark monsters in there, but I don't think there's a fire monster either. There's not even a fire monster in the main deck of Fabio, so I can comfortably tell you there is not going to be one in his graveyard right now either.
Oh, he's not playing Ash Blossom.
He's not playing Ash Blossom. Oh, there's Ash Blossom. I'm sorry. There. Okay, yeah. Forget it. But I mean, we did not see him activating Ash Blossom, so I think we're good on this. But yeah, you're right, there's Ash Blossom. It would have been a controversial choice to not include Ash Blossom into your main deck.
That is true.
Okay, so...
Okay, Diego is rolling up his sleeves. Yeah, now we're going to see the triple tactic last resort talents right here. So,
unless there is that Ash Blossom, Fabio's still holding on to a fistful of cards, and he's just drawn 2 more.
Yeah, that's true. So it's not triple tactics thrust, but I think Diego is putting a lot of trust into that draw 2 there, right? Oh, and now finally, Diego is activating it, the quarter century one, which is really, really nice looking. He wants to draw indeed, so no Hita lines whatsoever. What are we getting here? 2 very, very important cards he is picking up here. And you can't really tell from his face whether it's good or bad, but he found a good card there for sure. That's a really good pickup, honestly.
Yes, that is true. Now we're going to see the very famous Diabellstar engine now. This is something that elevates a lot of decks that have level 1 fire-type monsters. And also helps him a lot because he decided to summon back the Barong instead of the Ponix.
Yeah, that's really, really good. It's an incredible pickup there.
5,000 life points for Diego to go. How good is this deck at OTKing? The impermanence that you drew, you do not care about it. It's good that it's nothing that you don't want to discard. Let's just get it over with this card, and we're going to search for the Snake Eye spell.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Diego really blinged out his deck there, right? That's a lot of beautiful cards he's using.
I was going to say, are we activating Fenrir now, perhaps?
Oh, that doesn't even seem too bad, honestly, but looks like we have decided against it.
He picked it up.
Yeah, just
He
for a
was thinking
second,
about
double
it.
checking the effect. It's not a branded card, so you had to make sure what it does.
For a second, I forgot that there was also effects on the side of Fabio. I was so excited about the Fire King cards.
It's easy to do. You just have to make sure you're not doing it when you're playing. You're just watching your opponent being like, yeah, that seems cool. He's like, wait a second. I have a Nibiru. I should have used that at some point.
We are getting rid of the Diabell's double Black Witch for the Snake Eye spell. And that probably is just going to get us the Ponix. I don't think there's any other... Oh, never mind. There is another target, and he's going for the other target. And this, indeed, is also a Snake Eyes card. So the spell card now acts as it was intended, as an actual Snake Eyes card. And this is Snake Eye Ash being summoned to the field.
Finally, an Ash activated in
yes,
this game.
there is an Ash, indeed. And this one is kind of interesting because on normal or special summon, you can add one level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand. So even though we did not summon out the Ponix, we might still be able to search it out here through this. Ooh, and the Fenrir is banishing the Barong. Okay.
We're going to try and find some more cards that help us. We're drawing a lot now. This is very nice to see. So Snake Eye Ash is going to probably activate the effect. Oh, we are already having the Ponix in our hands, so I missed that one. However, did we normal summon?
We did, yeah. We normal summoned the... what's his name? I can't remember his name. Arvata?
Yeah, we did.
Right.
So now the second effect of Snake Eye Ash is being activated. You can send 2 face-up cards you control to the graveyard, including itself, which we did with the Viking Island as well. And then you can special summon out 1 Snake Eye monster from your deck. And there's a pretty big one, also very recently being released, the Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon. And he also summons back 2 level 1 monsters now through the effect of Flamberge. And all of a sudden, Diego is back up rolling here.
Yeah, so the Flamberge was immediately destroyed by that Fire King Island. But now we're going to get another copy of Fire King Island. Well, from the continuous spell.
Oh, that looks really good.
Yeah, out of nowhere, Diego is coming back into this. And honestly, I don't know whether I like the timing of Fabio using his Castria Fenrir effect there. That seemed very, very early. He hoped it would shut down the turn of Diego, but he just got started.
Or rather late, because it looked like it would stop the Diabellstar engine from going off.
Yeah.
I really would have liked to see it immediately, because there were no cards in Diego's hand. However, we have Ponix and Ash now on Diego's side, and he's going to show us the strength of the Fire King deck now. Coming back, maybe from a really terrible position he was in. We're going to the Linkuriboh first.
Linkuriboh coming.
Is this just an SP play now?
I think he's... Oh, there's
dark.
Okay, there is no fire monster in the graveyard, but there's, of course, plenty of dark monsters. So I think we are still going for the Selene line. I think we are trying to get up to Access Code Talker. So I feel like Diego has victory here in his hands. Another beautiful card coming to the field. It is Selene. And there is enough spell cards in the graveyard, right? Let's double check.
He's got 100.
Yes, okay. We can summon back the witch.
That is not really happening right here. However, does he even have an Alua in the graveyard? I don't think so, right?
But he's still got another. He's got another Chimera in his graveyard.
Okay.
So you can just activate it in the battle phase.
Selene.
This doesn't target, right? So you can still
Yeah.
destroy the Chimera.
Also, Chimera is only target protected if there is a regular polymerization in the
He
graveyard.
added a polymerization. Maybe he hasn't activated it yet.
Destroying the Mirror Swords Knight as well. But is there even another attribute in the graveyard we can use?
No.
Oh, it's only light and dark. So, we are not going for it here just yet. I was so hyped. I felt like Diego got it there, but he just goes into the battle phase once again. Last turn, he already thought he has game there with the Anima. And he was very, 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 very eager to do it here this turn. But again, it doesn't work out. Fabio still with 2,900 life points left there.
Okay, but now I'm really confused, because you have the Sanctuary, right? So you have access to Island. Island is not hard once per turn, meaning that you can use, if you have multiple copies, multiple of those. Oh, I can't read.
Yeah, Island is once per turn.
It's hidden there because it's like it says you can only
Yeah, it's hidden in the card text.
Well, it's after the it says the first effect that if it's destroyed or leaves the field, then it destroys all of your cards. But then afterwards it says you can only use one of the effects.
Okay, and that is going to be what we pass it back over to Fabio on. So Diego sitting there also only with 3,500 life points. And there finally is branded fusion. I assume that came from the top. So that's a nice pickup there. Sending a quarter-century rare for Novalbas. Or I think it's Starlight even. There was no quarter-century version of the card, I think.
To be honest, it was about time that we see a branded fusion in the third turn of this game. Diego has had a decent time coming back from this bad position earlier. Having no real plays, but now this is looking so good for Fabio.
Oh, Albion, the branded dragon, is being used, and I think now we were talking about it earlier, foreshadowing it, and I think Red Eye's Dark Dragoon is hitting the field here.
Yeah, he's had enough. He's like, enough of this. Branded fusion. Let's go.
Oh, and the super polymerization! Fusing with the access code Talker and probably the Albion by discarding the patchwork. And we should be having enough damage here on the field to attack for game after that.
Almost the Dragoon is just
almost enough. You're right.
Game right here. We're summoning a mud dragon, and that is not that impressive of a field, but it is enough damage to go for a game. And now Diego packs it up. We know that Fabio has won this game 1, grinding out the Fire King deck. Diego, it was too late for him to get into the game. He struggled in the first 2 turns, and then he got into his engine. Unfortunately, Fire King Island, because he can read better than me, is only hard once per turn, so you can only use it. It doesn't matter how many different copies you activate. You can only use 1. And that cost him the game, unfortunately. Yeah,
it was a real big back and forth. And honestly, it was also a roller coaster of emotions for Diego, right? Because he thought he won it right away with that anima move. He was like, I'm attacking for game here. This game is over. Let's go to the next. But then the judges had to give him the sad message. It's not over just yet.
Telling you got to do it properly. Sorry.
And it's hard, even especially in the feature match where there's a lot of pressure. You know that people are watching you. Recover from this. You think you have game. You're deliberately searching the Ponix because you think, hey, I can go into Anima. I set this. I put this token in the correct zone so I can Anima take it and win. And then you realize, oh.
Yep.
Oopsie.
There's always that first moment where you realize how it is. Because, I mean, it's not like crazy to think that it will work. Because, like, it's, as you say, sometimes tokens are a little bit weird, and sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. But here in this scenario, it did not work. And in his hat, it all worked out. In practice, he had to be stopped, and it wasn't meant to be for game number 1. But I mean, there's still potentially 2 more games to be played out. So Diego is still in this.
Top tip for everyone coming to a YCS.
Okay.
Now, well, one of my favorite new things. I say it's new, it's not that new anymore, but you can go and ask judges. There's a stall you can go and ask. If there's something you're not sure about going into an event, you want to check how it's going to work, you can go and ask before the event, which I really love. Because oftentimes there are new cards and you think, oh, I don't know how this works. So you can go and ask how, I mean, and sometimes you're not sure how it's going to be done for this event, because sometimes, you know, sometimes one thing gets ruled one way at one event and one way at another.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's really nice to go and ask. I really love it.
And it's not just that you ask any kind of judges, it's actually the head judges of the event sitting down there and answering you the questions. There's like a proper setup stand, as you were saying, every Friday of a YCS, and it says ask the head judges or something up top there. And yeah, it's a really cool way. If you're not sure, just double check for sure.
Yeah. And let me tell you, they are busy, so it's really nice that they're taking the time out of their day to just answer questions. So if you get a question answered, say thank you.
Yeah, absolutely do so, for sure. And yeah, what was the last judge ruling you had? Can you recall it from the top of your head? Because I recently even had that Anima situation. I'm not even kidding. I was playing Pearly, I was resolving Nibiru, and then I was like, this is easy peasy. We are just going for game here. How could it not be? And then I had the same realization that good old Diego had there. So I had that recently for myself. Does any one of you have a special situation where you weren't sure, but then had that call?
Sometimes
I'm going a blank here. I'm sure I have hundreds of rulings. You learn like every time. Yeah. Every time something new happens, and you just think, oh, I have no idea it works that way. But
the cool thing is, though, when you know the right solution, everything before that is kind of blanked out, right? Yeah. After you have the correct answer from a judge, you're like, okay, I'm set, though. I don't need to remember everything before that.
I had a very interesting one where I had a Zodiac Whiptail and an Exceeds monster over it. And I just hear that the duelists are ready, so let's not take any time away. I can tell that story later. Let's go right into the game 2. Well, well, that was maybe a bit abrupt, but I think that everyone appreciates some good Yu-Gi-Oh! Right here instead of some storytelling about a very interesting judge call.
Okay, Diego this time starting it off with the Sinful Sports package.
And it's just what he wanted.
Yes. Great pun there, Leo.
Again, the same one that I did earlier.
Yeah, it got even better, honestly. I enjoyed it even more this time, not gonna lie. So we are discarding the Nibiru here for the effect of the Abel Star. And the Witch is, of course, going to set the other card that we are playing in our deck, the original Sinful Sports Snake Eye.
You were right about the bling of the deck.
Yeah. Right? He's really maxing out rarity-wise there.
That was why we picked him for the feature match, right? We go around, we check. If you've got a full deck of quarter-century rares, you know, that's how we get you.
You're in, yeah. Easy peasy. Okay, and there we see it. Diego really always goes for the Snake Eye Ash first. And I mean, why wouldn't you, right? When you have an option to just search out the Ponix, why would you summon out the Ponix Bear? We can just get it later on as well. Normal summon Ponix gets us the Sanctuary, so this time, not being interrupted by Fabio at all, he has a way easier time showcasing us what the Fire King deck is capable of doing. Fire King Island now also on the field, looking good. Diego was about to send a continuous spell card there, but no, destroying the Ponix for the effect of Island. And what are we getting with that?
It looks like we're going to see Arvata soon. Yes, I'm really excited about this because I don't think that everyone has figured out how to play the Fire Kings yet, so I really want to see what Diego has been cooking up this weekend.
Absolutely, I do agree.
He started out a lot quicker this game, which makes me feel like he's got a much more, you know, optimal hand, because oftentimes, you know, you practice the combos with the good cards and then sometimes you get
this card we have not seen yet, but it's also a new introduction from the structure deck, and it's a Fire King High Avatar Kirin. And that's a very, very powerful card. And it's also free
or is it the Garunix? I think.
Oh, it's tough. Oh, wait.
It is definitely the Garunix.
Yeah, you're right. It is the Garunix. It was looking like the Kirin for me, which is a free of in the deck, but you are absolutely right. This is the Sacred Fire King Garunix instead, which he searched out there. And also, it is only a 2-off only, but still a very, very, very powerful card.
Sometimes you want to draw it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with the Sacred Fire King Garunix is you just search it out, and there was a monster being destroyed, and it immediately is able to trigger, and therefore Garunix made his way to the field by its own effect. But Fabio is like, I want to get rid of some monsters here, not destroying them, but just tributing them through the effect of Nibiru. And that is going to hurt here.
Excuse me, would you take some time out of your combo to look at my rock?
Yep, it's happening. Nibiru resolving. We're currently calculating how many attack and defense points are going to be on that token. Once again, it feels like all of those games here in round number 2 are going to be met with a Nibiru. Because if I saw correctly, there's also a Nibiru in the hand of Diego there.
Yeah. I think like counting the attack points always feels like a consolation prize. I don't know if that's the word. The way you're like, yeah, at least this is a lot of attack.
Maybe I'll just get to attack with it next turn.
Hopefully. Very likely.
Now, of course, a fantastic draw here would be Triple Tactics Talent. Can Diego find it again? You resolved it in the last game, almost netting him the win, but no, he draws a third copy of Nibiru because he already discarded one in the beginning with the Diabell Star Witch. But now he's stuck there with 2 Nibirus. And honestly, I'm somewhat surprised by him even being on Nibiru still, because initially, I wouldn't say Nibiru is the greatest card versus Branded Chimera, honestly. It can come up, but it's not really that great.
Yeah, I agree with you. It feels kind of, because some decks have to do a lot of link summoning and so on to get to where they want to be, but the branded monsters and the Chimera monsters are so big and so impactful just straight away. You know, you've already got a couple of searches. You can then activate a fusion spell if you've got one left over. It does feel a little bit not great.
Yeah. Especially after we have seen the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon.
On top of that as well, yeah, you're right, totally. That can just stop the Nibiru indeed. But I mean, there is another pretty impactful hand interaction in the hand of Diego, which is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. And of course, every branded player hates this card because it always gets used on branded fusions. So, but there, first of all, is going to be the normal summon of Gazelle.
The king of mythical claws.
Indeed.
Not the king of mythical beasts.
We are searching out the Chimera Fusion there.
Yeah.
Oh, but we only searched the Chimera Fusion, didn't we?
Yeah, Gazelle only searches 1. Baphomet searches 2.
Oh yeah, you're right. You can decide what you want to search. So now comes Chimera Fusion, and I think was it Guardian Chimera even, right? Wasn't it? No, okay, it was only 2 monsters. Okay.
Well, it was a nice combo there. Well, it's not a combo, but so this Chimera only requires 1 Fiend and 1 Beast. So the Gazelle is a Beast, and the Ejim Chain is a Fiend. So you can summon it without needing Baphomet.
That is indeed very right. So there is going to be now the Chimera, the King of Phantom Beasts on the field.
So Diego kind of, in my mind, kind of correctly waiting to either hit that Mirror Sword Knight or to hit the Branded Fusion.
Totally,
but
I
it
agree.
looks like Fabio has achieved quite a lot without it. Maybe
Yeah.
he's just looking at this Ash Blossom saying, should I have used this by now? Like, what's it?
There
why
comes
is it still in my
Cornfield
hand?
Codal now.
Yeah, that is the big strength of the branded Chimera deck, that you can do a lot without activating the branded fusion.
For sure.
And also, your Baphomet really baits out an Ash Blossom because you can add 2 cards with it. But you can, most of the time, put the chain links so that you cannot get ashed on it.
Yeah, no, it's really nice to have like multiple things to do, each of which requires your opponent to have the Ash Blossom to respond.
Okay, but we are going into the battle phase, so that's good news at least for Diego,
Yeah.
because it means we are going to see him having another turn here, because that is not going to be enough to attack for game just yet.
Yeah, that Nibiru really put a halt on things for Diego, but it doesn't look like Fabio's fully able to capitalize.
Yeah, sometimes you can also like read your opponent a little bit. Diego very quickly discarded the Nibiru for the effect of the Diabellstar, which kind of signalizing over to Fabio that there might be another copy in hand, which in fact was the case. So maybe Fabio picked up on that.
All right, now we're going to see the OG polymerization with the Hex and Nibiru. So let's see what he's going to fusion summon out with this. It is the Albion.
Okay, Albion, and I think this is summon number 4, right? So we cannot even Nibiru here, and then the next summon is going to be the Nibiru. So indeed, as we were anticipating, that is somewhat of a problem. The only scenario that I can see here is Fabio activating like Branded Fusion or Mirror Swords Knight after. That is being ashed, and therefore Fabio responds to the Ash Blossom.
Okay.
Hold on. That is a quick effect, of course. We
That is
can
the
use
Kirin.
the effect of Kirin, which I was mentioning earlier, in our opponent's main phase as well, and we try to get that out of the way before the Dragoons hit the field.
Oh, and he destroyed the Ash from his own hand.
That is definitely illegal. You're not allowed to discard Ash Blossom against the branded Chimera deck.
But it has to be a fire monster, therefore we couldn't go with the Nibiru, and we had to go and get rid of the Ash Blossom instead.
How do you profit from that one now? Because this one only destroys a card on the opposing side if it gets destroyed itself. And how do you do that right now?
That is a very legit question. Let's double read on Fire King High Avatar Kirin.
Also, is the Albion actually able to summon out a Dragoon? Because I don't know if there's a Dragon monster in the graveyard.
Ooh, good
Albion's
point.
the dragon monster.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you're
that
right.
is true.
There's absolutely Albion on the field.
But we have summoned
I'm not sure
the
what
monster.
that is.
The name.
That's
I-
another one of
which I
the
forgot.
another one of the Chimera cards, and
Yeah.
it's Chimera the Illusion Beast.
Oh, that's good. I knew Chimera the Illusion Beast, but I guess maybe I've just not seen it.
Oh wait, no, or is it Baphomet? They look really
that's
similar.
new. Yeah, no, I think it's Baphomet.
It
I
could
think
also
it's
be
the reliever.
Baphomet, or is it Magnum?
No, it's not Magnum.
I don't
It's
think
not
it was Magnum either.
Are you sure?
It pretty certainly was Magnum, yeah. Okay,
I
but,
just
but
saw
where did the card go? Where did the card go, Bo?
I just saw the card highlight and I was immediately thinking, hey, okay, then it's got to be Chimera, but I did that.
So, where? It definitely wasn't Magnum, no.
Well, just wait.
So, if you destroy a Nibiru token
No, it can't be Magnum. You're right.
with Dragoon, does Dragoon gain the attack?
No, I don't think so.
More token rulings questions. Send them in.
Indeed. Ask your judges at home or in your local store. They will be happy to answer ruling questions because that is what they are there for. Okay, and now it's just going to be another Chimera. That makes it easier for us because we don't have to figure out which card it was. But it was either the Baphomet or the Chimera, the Illusion Beast, I'm very sure. Okay, now, of course, we are also going to trigger the graveyard effect of Garunix now, and that will probably be the way to trigger the Kirin, I would assume. Because the Garunix can be used in hand or in the graveyard. And now Diego, all of a sudden, he was holding his hand still for forever, and then all of a sudden he decided now it's time to start, now it's time to go. And please note that there's now 2 level 8 monsters on the field for Diego, meaning he could also use the effect of his continuous spell of the Sanctuary of the Fire King to get out an Exceed monster, and that's not only any Exceed monster, it's Garunik's Eternity, which would then destroy the entire field of Fabio, or at least all of his monsters. But currently his field only consists of monsters, so that would be all of his field right now.
This looks like it's gone a bit topsy-turvy for Fabio here. I can't imagine this was his plan to summon an Albion in a second Chimera.
Probably not, yeah. You're right.
I mean, he must have been pretty happy when you just get to attack your opponent. You know, Nibiru sort of ends their turn, you get to summon some monsters, attack them, and then it all looks like it's, not gone according to plan, though.
I don't know if Fabio knows what Garunik's Eternity Hyang of the Fire Kings does. And I don't know if he knows that this card exists. So he just knows that his opponent is going to be able to Exceed Summon on his turn if he does anything else. And this is scary.
It is, for sure. When you don't know what's coming, it's even scary. I mean, if you know what it is already a bit scary, but when you have no clue, it's even scarier, for sure. And honestly, I mean, we read this card before the match because we were preparing for a Fire King featured match, but if I wouldn't have done that, maybe I would have not necessarily known that card either, because it's a specific card that comes up in some scenarios, but it's not like an overall choice that you always know. Like, of course you know Ponix because it's the main new thing for the deck. Of course you know the new Garunix, but that Exceed monster that sometimes is being summoned out on your opponent's turn is not the first card you're reading when you're reading up on Fire King cards, of course.
You think everyone knows Ponix and Garunix?
Yep. I talked with at least 10 people knowing
at least 10. Okay,
at least 10.
Okay. How many people did you talk to?
At least 10. Didn't I say that already?
I remember Basti running through the venue yesterday, panically asking, do you know Ponix? Do you know Garunix?
Yep, that's one.
I am convinced that I convinced at least 2 people putting it into their deck, actually.
They were just playing a Fire King deck without it before. They were like, yeah, I'm playing Fire King. I'm not sure about this Ponix card.
No, I think they just added the Fire King engine.
What, to Rescue Ace? Infernoble?
I won't give that away, of course.
That's what happens when you let Basti cook this.
Is this going to be your new thing after Plunder?
No.
Oh, yeah. How was your time playing Plunder, by the way?
Good.
Was it?
You didn't come in with an eye patch or anything. You've not fully committed.
I made 3rd place at an OTS championship with it. How about that? Stop talking. I
don't know how
defeated your point. I defeated your point. I took that deck and played it. I don't know why you're asking me so sarcastically about it. I had a great time playing Plunder, of course.
I think that's just what I sound like. I'm sorry. I wasn't meant to be sarcastic.
Okay, fair enough.
I was.
I know. But yeah, no. I mean, it was a fun time for sure. Plunder has not really, like, we had it. What was it? Was it the European Championship where Plunder was in our featured match area?
Round 7, round 8?
I think somewhere around that, I agree. And I loved the deck, Runic Plunder specifically, and I really enjoyed playing it. But did you have any decks that you enjoyed really playing lately, mostly for fun? Because we are all competitively minded, so of course we are getting our hats into the most meta decks of the format and try to figure out what they are doing and so on. But sometimes you just want to sit down and have a fun game of Yu-Gi-Oh, don't you?
Yeah, my favorite deck to play is the branded deck.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's so much fun. Like, you just summon all these big fusions, and then somehow during the end phase you add back like 5 cards to your hand, and you think, you know, if you're playing against the deck and you think they might have run out of stuff, and it's like, absolutely not, no.
Let me just take my graveyard.
I should have known that you're a branded enjoyer.
Yeah.
How about you, Leo? Oh, no, I know the answer.
And then he just immediately regretted.
Cosmic Cyclone.
Yes, Cosmic Cyclone is half the engine, the other half is Salamangreat, of course. It has just gotten some support recently, like the Volcanics have.
Really good, really good.
It is really good. And there was one card, Salamangreat Charge, that just did the trick for me. The deck was already pretty strong, but Salamangreat Charge was just so good because nobody was expecting it. And you can take 3 fire monsters, not necessarily different names, that are banished or in your graveyard, put 2 of them into the extra deck or deck, and summon out the last one. Yeah. So your opponent thinks, hey, my opponent is out of resources, and you just activate Charge, special summon back a Rage Phoenix, then put the other one back as well, Reincarnation link it, go into the Will, and then you OTK out of nowhere.
It's really, really cool. I feel like fire in general as an attribute in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Really is on the rise, isn't it? Because historically, I want to say light and dark, mainly dark, has been the main competitor in terms of the best attribute in the game.
Yeah.
But fire has been putting up a show lately because the Infernoble deck is really using it. The Sinful Spoils package is amazing. Rescue Ace is having a couple of fire cards. I think fire really is in top 3 right now, I want to say.
I think the Sinful Spoils has really launched the fire into the mainstream.
Yeah, for sure. But let's see whether the fire monsters here in this feature match can also return back into the action and maybe take down game number 2. Back to the table it is.
Yeah, I think that the players are siding right now.
Ooh, and that means that Diego has indeed taken down game number 2. And therefore we have an even score again. Okay, so we got an answer on the judge ruling there. We have clarified that game number 2 goes to Diego. And that means we are having the joy of seeing another game. And we can, while the players are looking through their side deck, also have a side deck look here on our own.
We can join the players looking through the side
Diego,
decks.
for example, is siding Cosmic Cyclone. Let's start it
Let's
off like
go.
that. So Leo is happy while we're looking at the side decks. A question for you guys. DD Crow, super versatile card all around. How good is it versus Fire Kings though, from what we can tell so far? There is a couple, I mean, we can hit the Garunix in a graveyard, which we just saw coming back from there. But there's also some more stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to be too pouring cold water on you here, but this is Diego's side deck you're looking at, so...
Yeah, he is playing the Fire Kings.
Yeah, but what about him playing a mirror match at some point in the tournament? But no, you're right. Okay, but how good is it then versus the Brandon Camaro strategy? Sorry for getting that mixed up.
No worries, it's fine. No, I don't know if it does too much. There are definitely applications for the DD Crow, but it's never this one spot where you think, oh, I have the DD Crow and I'm going to use this and it's going to throw him completely off guard. And you're like, yeah, okay, he has like one of the 10 effects he can use that profit, and I can just take one away, so my opponent goes +9 instead of +10.
I want to say one good thing to hit with the DD Crow, though, is Chimera Fusion, because this card recovering itself all the time is like really powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to be careful though, because sometimes they can just search an extra copy.
True, true. Yeah, it's sometimes not the end of the combo, that's for sure. Then next up we have Drone and Lockbird, which can definitely be kind of handy versus at least the Chimera package of the deck, because that is searching non-stop. The branded part, not so much, but I mean, we're also playing the Fright for a package and so on, so I do believe that it's actually kind of cool, and I think Drone Lockbird will certainly come in. I like it a lot more, at least, than compared to Nibiru, for example. It seems a lot better than Nibiru to me.
We also saw the Fenrir and the Fright for Patchwork.
True, a lot of cards,
extra cards. It's nice to. I love playing spell cards, add cards to your hand, but then sometimes you have a fistful of them, and then you get drolled, and you just look at them and think, why did I do this to myself?
But those hands are the ones where you get really nervous because you're like, oh, this is so good. There is no way I'm losing this unless.
Unless.
You look at your opponent and say, you wouldn't do that to me, would you?
Absolutely
We're friends.
On resolution.
On resolution of this, game number 3 now, though, because players are ready. Back into the action it is. Okay, let's...
All right, there we go. The players are ready, I think. And this is going to be game number 3. So it is relatively early in the tournament, round 2 if you have just tuned in. We also have an indicator of that on top of the screen. So you always know which round we are in case you have been in and out of the stream. So it's really early, but it's really tough to lose early.
For sure, of course. It will definitely make the rest of your day and the rest of your tournament run a lot harder if you start up by losing. But one of those two players will have to deal with that. Let's see whether it is Fabio or Diego. We started with Cornfield Cordial, and look at that. There is the effect, Valen Negation, on the card that would have been searching 2 cards there on the Baphomet.
Is there any way for Fabio to continue? I mean, with a branded fusion or a Chimera fusion, he's going to be very happy.
Looking good for Diego here as Fabio just sets 1 card and passes it over, and Diego is licking his lips. He's ready. He only sees that Baphomet and 1 set card there. He wants to do it now. He wants to win this feature match so badly, and he has the continuous spell again. Let's go. Sanctuary being activated, followed by the Fire King Island.
Sanctuary is such a powerful card. It looks like it's glued to Diego's hand so far.
Yeah.
This card has always been there for him, sometimes even without the Fire King.
And finally, we have a good card to destroy with the Fire King Island right away. We are destroying the Ponix,
Let's go.
searching out the Garunix.
Does the Ponyx, when it's destroyed, it lets you add it back maybe during the next standby phase?
Yes, indeed, indeed.
But I think just being able to destroy any fire monster allows you to search the Garunix and then immediately special summon it, which is what you want to do.
It's exactly what you wanted. Garunix now coming to the field, also destroying from the deck the Kirin. So Garunix is the one card that can destroy stuff from your deck, which is so nice. Just destroying card of your deck is really, really good. Okay, we destroy the... Wow, we destroy the back. He'll be only one on the side of Fabio. His last hope right there. And the Ponyx is coming back, searching out. Now also the Fire King Skyburn. It's looking nice for Diego here.
So there can be multiple now, but this deck does not really suffer from there can be only one that much, because you have Beasts and Winged Beasts and Beast Warriors.
Yeah, I was gonna. It's one of those kind of confusing ones because it looks like they should all be the same type, but actually they're all slightly different.
Yeah, it's just the same attribute.
Yeah, Beasts and they're all kind of like one of the 3 Tri-Brigade types, if you like. Beast, Winged Beast, and Beast Warrior, I think.
Yeah, that's true. So, Ponyx on the field, summon in attack position with his mighty 500 attack points.
Oh, that's an angry Ponyx, let me tell you.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it would be good enough to at least bring him ahead in life points here after we run over the Baphomet. But we have to be careful with the Baphomet, because Baphomet is also an illusion monster, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's a Fiend.
Oh, okay, it's not. Okay, fair enough.
I did not say yes to that.
True, it's one of the Chimera monsters. Oh, but I mean, we can technically exceed someone on our opponent's turn, but we can also just do it on our own turn in the normal way by overlaying 2 level 8 monsters there, bringing out the Garunix Eternity, Highing of the Fire Kings, destroying the monster. There comes Circle, bring back Kirin, destroying the Exceed monster. Bringing back both monsters from the graveyard, both materials. Diego attacking with all of them. What a quick and swift third game that was. Diego is winning with the Fire King strategy. What a game that was.
Yeah,
very well executed.
You know what, that reminded me of like Kaiba, attacking with the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and then activating D-Fusion and summoning.
Exactly the same.
That was the moment.
Yeah, the Circle, I thought, wow, okay, it looks like there are no interruptions on him. He has everything he wants. He's just going into an Exceeds monster and deals 3,000 damage. That was mildly disappointing until the Circle hit the field, summoning
beautiful.
3 big monsters. But one thing, I really like this. This is kind of a hero story for the Fire King deck now for our stream. Because we still haven't figured out what the deck tries to do in turn 1.
That is true, but we might learn a little bit more about that, already spoiling a bit of additional content for the rest of the weekend, because we have some new segment coming this weekend, and it's going to be combo tutorials, where we sit down with players that are really, really good at their deck that they're presenting to us, and then they're going to show us the main combo of the deck. And we're also going to talk about a couple of interactions and so on. And I can tell you, I personally sat down with the man himself, Joshua Schmidt, which explained a couple more Fire King combos to us. So definitely make sure to wait for that, check that out, and enjoy the combo tutorial there.
You are definitely an expert on this deck now, because you were there, right? He was teaching you.
Indeed, I was there. And you could tell after this match. But yeah, no, the thing is, I didn't. This was a complete surprise to me that Garunix also has that graveyard effect, because it was the Garunix triggering in the graveyard there, special summoning both the materials that it had before, and then all of a sudden we had all of those big attack monsters attacking. It was crazy, honestly.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage, way over 10,000 damage in one turn. Phenomenal OTK right there. I love it when the rogue decks are just surprising everyone, and they're actually just showing off, hey, we can win easily. We have strong win conditions as well. But let's stop us talking about the Fire King deck, but rather let's hear it from Diego. Ed, take it away.
Thank you, Leo. Yes, I am here with the winner of our Round 2 feature match, Diego, with that Fire King deck that you were just talking about. Diego, Round 2 on the feature match, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. The deck is really fun to play, and it's pretty new. I mean, it came out like 2 days ago, and then I'm having a blast playing it. It's so fun.
What made you pick it?
Phoenix is cute.
Is that it?
Just this. I love Phoenix. Phoenix is the god.
So that was quite an interesting duel to go through. The first game went on for 20 minutes. Yeah. So when you're having quite a drawn-out game, why didn't you decide to just scoop or maybe try something else? Why did you decide to stick it out?
That's a good question, because Fire King has a really good grind game. It basically recurs every resources, very well. Plus, Kirin is a card, fantastic card. I mean, it can summon itself, summon another monster, destroy another card, even not targeting. It's so good in the grind game. So that's my take.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, you did decide just to kind of slog it out. I've written down every back and forth. There was a Chimera Unibirude, and then there was an issue with trying to equip the token to Anima. So do you want to talk us through what was going through your head in those moments?
I thought that was a thing I could do.
I think that's entirely fair, but apparently the question mark says no. Getting to that game 2, there was a couple of issues there which meant to a slow play warning led to a game loss there, so you were 1 apiece. And then that game 3 was so exciting because I think you managed to stop the... Which one was it? It was the Baphomet. You managed to stop that with the effect Veiler.
Yeah, it was a really, I mean, fair game because Garunix Eternity is a fantastic card, plus Circle in my hand was perfect to OTK my opponent, and so much damage on the board makes the thing, I feel.
Yeah, and you took the win, so congratulations. Now, is there anything that you're worried about going up against with that Fire King deck this weekend?
I mean, no, it's the best deck. Phoenix will carry.
You've heard it here first, everyone. So congratulations again, mate. All the best of luck going for the rest of the rounds here at YCS Bologna. Guys, don't go anywhere because we're going to be back very shortly with a quiz before we get into our round 3 feature.